E aí galera, beleza? Tudo em paz com vocês? Sejam todos muito bem-vindos. Começo agora mais um vídeo do canal Metal Musikast. Vou falar para vocês que eu acabei de fazer uma entrevista muito importante para o canal e eu tenho certeza que vai ser muito interessante para todos vocês. Eu acabei de conversar com o Mr. Paul Quinn, guitarrista da grande banda Saxon. Conversamos sobre o novo álbum, claro, falamos alguns detalhes. Ele falou uma das preferidas dele, conversamos se já tem música aí para o novo setlist. Fiquem ligados, eu fiz uma entrevista até breve, eu tinha alguns minutos para conversar com ele e eu coloquei meio que na primeira metade a pauta falando do álbum. Eu acho que é interessante, eles estão promovendo o álbum, a gente tinha algumas dúvidas, alguns detalhes aqui para conversar com eles, perguntei por que ele não fez neste álbum aqui uma música mais rock and roll, tipo a Strong Arm of the Law, que o Saxon faz tão bem, porque também não ter mais tantas harmonias de guitarras, que no Saxon vez ou outra já apareceu, eu curto, e eles têm diminuído de um tempo para cá. Bem, fiz várias considerações sobre o novo álbum, ouvi dele as opiniões, e na segunda metade da entrevista eu coloquei na pauta algumas perguntas sobre a New Wave of British Heavy Metal. Vocês sabem que aqui no Metal Musikast eu falo muito desse movimento, entrevisto as bandas, e eu entrevistando o Saxon, né, o guitarrista que estava lá na época da New Wave of British Heavy Metal, não podia deixar passar, quis saber algumas coisas da boca dele, e ele falou, a gente conversou até sobre essa aparente rivalidade que alguns fãs às vezes colocam nesse confronto, nessa disputa de Saxon e Io Maiden. Perguntei para ele, ele não fugiu da questão, respondeu. Tá aí, eu fiz essa entrevista, vou colocar aqui logo depois para vocês, peço que vocês prestem atenção. Ele tem um estilo de responder com muita calma, mas ele não dava respostas muito longas, não ficou com maiores delongas, maiores considerações, mas respondeu tudo de maneira objetiva, com muita atenção. Foi muito atencioso com o canal Metal Musikast e está aí. Vamos trocar ideia, vamos ver essa entrevista. Vocês sabem o quanto é importante falar do Saxon aqui. Eu já tinha feito uma resenha com meu amigo Val Borba deste álbum e agora eu pude perguntar diretamente para um integrante da banda algumas coisas que a gente conversou ali naquele vídeo da resenha. E além disso, pessoal, falamos aí um pouco do Brasil, ele também comentou um pouco do que ele lembra dos shows daqui. Eu vou colocar aqui para vocês, peço que assistam aí com atenção, inscrevam-se no canal, vocês percebem como a gente está fortalecendo cada vez mais o Metal Musikast aqui na plataforma, no YouTube. A gente precisa disso, quanto mais inscrição, quanto mais comentários, quanto mais likes e compartilhamentos, mais a plataforma entende que o canal Metal Musikast desperta a atenção do público, mais o algoritmo vai propagar isso aí pelo ambiente da internet, ambiente virtual, beleza? Então, conto com vocês nessa, coloquem aí os comentários, o que vocês acham, eu gosto sempre de saber o que vocês pensam sobre os vídeos, sobre a opinião de Paul Quinn, guitarrista das antigas do Saxon, né? É curioso que a assessoria aqui do Brasil me perguntou se eu tinha alguma preferência de integrante da banda para escolher, e claro que eu escolheria ou o vocalista, Biff Byford, ou o Paul Quinn mesmo, porque são os caras das antigas, dá pra gente conversar mais de questões lá da New Wave of British Heavy Metal, além de falar sobre o novo álbum. Por alguns motivos não deu para ser o Biff Byford, ficou o guitarrista Paul Quinn, ótimo, sensacional, top, estamos aí, estamos fazendo, e eu agradeço demais o apoio do pessoal da Suzy, do pessoal do Som do Dharma, do Wellington Tomasi, muito obrigado, com muito profissionalismo, de uma maneira muito atenciosa, eles encaminharam essa questão, e agradeço demais também o selo que lança alguns álbuns do Saxon aqui no Brasil, a Heavy Metal Rock, que também deu esse apoio, também viabilizou a entrevista. Preciso agradecer os caras que colocaram a mão aí na questão e fizeram a coisa acontecer, beleza? Tamo junto, vamos parar aqui de apresentações, vamos assistir o que o Mr. Paul Quinn, guitarra do Saxon, tem para falar com o pessoal do Metal Musikast. Tamo junto, forte abraço, curtam aí o novo álbum, Carpe Diem. I'd like to start by
congratulating you on the newest album, Carpe Diem. Great, great work. Is
Yeah.
it possible to know what the audience's response has been?
Only that we're managing chart positions everywhere. You know, the feedback we're getting from fans is great. Yeah.
And Paul, after releasing a new album, do you listen to it again to check the sound or
Hmm.
production or something like that?
Oh yeah. We have to learn the songs again as well because it's been a while since we played them.
And the Brazilian Saxon fans appreciated the new album a lot. They are crazy about it. And for me, in my opinion, the riffs of the brand new album seem to have come out straight from the new wave of British heavy metal times. Of course, with the quality of production we have nowadays, I'm talking about the songs like The Age of Steam and
Mm.
Living on the Limit. For example, was there a specific concerns about this kind of way?
No, I don't see it as a big difference to the last few albums. It's slightly more classic, but it's still got kind of death notes in it.
And the song Pilgrimage is great. For me, these songs refers me to the mood of Crusader, the song Crusader. Uh,
Mm.
was this intentional?
Mm, not the riff came from something I had for a while, but the only similarity is that I also wrote the main part of Crusader, the intro, and the verses actually, but it wasn't meant to be like Crusader. It was meant to be, like what the Americans call Quaalude rock, which is quite unusual for our point in this point in our career, that we very seldom slow down, and that is a good example of slowing down and playing a groove.
Okay, and the album brings fast songs, very heavy songs, but it has the music, the pilgrimage, which is, as you say, slower and I can say progressive approach. I know
Mm,
you are a great fan of progressive rock.
mm, yeah,
And how important it is to have the balance, this kind of balance in the album?
it seems to all of us that the listening public is more um, educated into different styles of music. So we're trying to please ourselves and make sure that they like it at the same time. It's a bit of a tightrope, but it seems to have worked for the last 10 or so years as well.
And in this new album, there's no a rock and roll song that Saxon writes so well, like "Strong Arm of the Law," for example. Was
Mm,
any song that was left out to keep the album heavier?
no, no, this is more or less all the best songs got thrown onto this album. Yeah.
And another point is, I know that there are fans of Thin Lizzy in Saxon because you recorded the rocker song on album Inspirations, and
Mm.
Saxon's first album has clear influences from Phil Lynot's band, but Saxon decreases the guitar harmonies that are so common on Thin Lizzy, and the Saxon are decreasing the harmonies on the latest albums. Why?
Just that the songs maybe didn't suit them, but to answer that question fully, I need to point out that we generally share solos, Doug and I, and some of my solos are just converted into harmonies instead of playing a solo because I found it more interesting.
And talking about the progressive rock that you like so much, and have you ever thought about put these influences on the Saxon, like Iron Maiden did on their brand new album St. Judson?
I don't understand the question. Try me again, Chelo.
Okay, I mean, you are a great fan of rock, progressive rock, and I'm asking you if have you ever thought about to let the progressive influences?
Oh, we do to some extent, yeah.
Yeah.
But we're concise, you know. We like to make it a 4 or 5 minute song instead of a 7 or 8 minute song. That's just us, you know. We're not trying to be neoclassical, really.
Great. Very interesting, very interesting. And which songs from this new album are on the new set list?
Don't know. We haven't tried any yet.
Any
got,
favorite?
I love Age of Steam, and also I like most of it, actually. I can't really say that there's a favorite. We'll try all of them probably, and if you know the best ones that we play the best will get in the set.
I like so much Age of Steam is a killer. It's a killer track. Great song. And Paul, there was a time when heavy metal bands could reach the top of mainstream business and being on the charts with pop music artists. Nowadays, with some exceptions, I think this is not possible anymore. Do you think that this fact leaves the heavy metal bands free of major labels pressure to be the bands can be themselves, the heavy metal bands can be themselves?
I think so. It depends on who you're talking about. I mean, if you're talking about Bon Jovi, they're naturally commercial to start with, but you know, our career has been a mixture of everything. We get bored if we're playing the same kind of music all the time.
And I'm thinking about the Destiny album from Saxon that was commercial in comparison with the Power and the Glory and Denim and Leather. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
it was an experiment, yeah.
And any regrets?
No, a lot of fans like that album. And Destiny, of course. We can't say that we dislike any of them because it's like they're part of our family, and it's like saying you don't like this son or you don't like that daughter. No, we like them all.
Great. And Paul, at the 70s and 80s, the bands needed to impress major labels to get money to records and go on good tours and have a good marketing structure. But now Who should a band impress in the age of streaming platforms?
Ooh. I think the opening riff has to be great for a rock band. You know, or you know, if it's pop music, it has to be an interesting sound of some sort. It has to grab the first moment has to grab you. Otherwise, people will just go, you know, swipe, swipe, swipe.
Yeah. And well, heavy metal fans still stop to listen and most important to buy the new albums from Saxon and their favorite bands like Io Maiden, Halloween, Scorpions,
Mm,
bands like Uriah Heep that I like so much still release good new records.
mm.
What's your opinion about these times nowadays of the heavy metal scene?
It's hard to say with the pandemic, but the the feeling we got from playing Hammersmith and Manchester was that the fans are ready for it. Even people that weren't going to concerts before are turning out now because there's been so little to do, and they have their favourite bands, so they'll go and see them now. You know, whereas maybe before they'd say, "I'm washing my hair that night."
Paul, here in Brazil, there are some Saxon and Io Maiden fans who
Mm,
create a kind of dispute between the bands. But you gave a beautiful testimony about Steve Harris
hmm
in this book. What is the relationship between Saxon and Io Maiden? And why do you think these disputes arise between some fans?
I think fans are going to have their favourites. Although there are people that I know that are friends as well as fans that like both bands, and they're the ones that, you know, that have their head on straight, the ones that think their band is best. Um, they're welcome to their opinion, but I think they should be a bit more open.
And I've been made a special series of videos about new wave of British heavy metal
Mm.
bands. And do you think that this was a real musical movement with uh, camaraderie between bands, sharing gears, sharing gigs, and stuff
Mm.
like that? Or is just a creation of the press?
It was a groundswell movement before the press named it, and in particular Jeff Barton. Yeah,
Well,
but
Mr.
you know, we used to see all these bands in the late '70s on the road. We were either in a truck stop or we'd be playing the same gig as them. Like we played with Maiden at least 4 times before either band got a recording contract. We knew they were good then. You know, they were going for it.
Okay. And well, Mr. Paul Quinn, what are Saxon next plans?
We have festivals starting in June, and then we have a tour of Europe in October and a tour of the UK in November. Um, but the countries that are opening up so slowly, we don't really know when we'll get to your side of the water. That's the
Okay,
unfortunate bit. Yeah, we're
okay,
working on it. We're definitely working on it because we enjoy playing Brazil and the rest of your continent.
okay. And what do
Mm.
you remember about Saxon concerts in Brazil?
How loud the audiences are. It's you know, there should be a decibel limit in Brazil for audiences, not on bands, just audiences.
I remember a concert when Biff Byford, uh, opened the curtains of the Palace. The venue is called Palace, and asked the audience, "What do you want? What do you want here?" And there's no limit of time. There is no time. And Saxon played 2 or 3 hours, and without the set list and playing what the audience asks for you. Do you remember that?
Well, he does it sometimes, yeah. Yeah,
Great.
we have had times like that. Sometimes we can remember them. Sometimes we're going, what's the first chord?
Great, great. Well, Mr. Paul Quinn, thanks once again. As soon as possible, I hope to see you in São Paulo, Brazil. And would you like to leave a message to the Brazilian fans? Feel free to do that, please.
Yeah. Brazil, we can't wait to rock you again. Say hi to Adriana Lima if you see her.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Paul Quinn. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to talk to you.
Great. Thanks, Chelo. Bye for now.